Hi Blender fans, and welcome to Blender again. And in this tutorial I'm going to show you how we can actually create this simulation using an add-on called Wall Factory. Join me in the tutorial when I show you how to enable this if you haven't got it already enabled. I'm just going to actually show you how we can actually use the Wall Factory to make this simple animation. So make a new scene. So I've made my new scene. I'm going to look from my camera and I'm just going to adjust things slightly. And I'm just going to scale the cube up. Pressing the N key will get rid of that. So scaling the Z just to actually make my cube nice and thin. And I'm just going to scale it up because this is where my wall is going to sit. And I'm just going to move this down till the red line just appears above our cube. Add in the wall. Follow me to the end if you want to actually see the actual how you enable this add-on. But it's quite simple to enable and it's given free with Blender. So we've got this, we've got mesh, and we've got extra objects. Add mesh, extra objects, and you got Wall Factory. Now as a default, this puts a window in there. It doesn't work very well in the simulation, so I'm just going to actually get rid of the window. So I'll go down here, and when it comes to openings, we'll just shut that back down. So we've now made our wall, but as you can see, it's not got any physics to it. So let's add the physics to this. So we've got our wall, and as you can see, we've got our wall and we've got our floor. First of all, I'm going to actually go into the physics, and I'm going to make the cube the floor. And I want this to be a passive element in that I don't want it to move. So now what we've got now is the brickwork. So if I press the 1 key and look from the front, I'm just going to select all these blocks by just clicking on them. And next we're going to add a rigid body constraint to this. And the constraint is going to be the active. But if we actually hit the spacebar now, as you can see, the whole lot of the bricks fall. I'm just going to go in a bit closer and move this floor object just so it actually intersects with our wall, and press the tab key to go out of edit mode. And as you can see, our brickwork just falls down as one, but it's not actually individual bricks yet. So if we press the 1 key, select our wall, press the tab key to go into edit mode. And what we're going to do now is actually press the P key. So we're going to separate all of our bricks into loose parts so they are all separate bricks, just like this. So now the origins of every brick is actually in the same place. So what we need to do now is go back out of edit mode, don't touch anything else, go into object, under transform. What we're going to do is set the origin to geometry. And as you can see now, the origin point of every brick is actually in the center of every brick. Press the space bar to run our simulation, and we should see our bricks fall. All this is just taking the actual grout up on the different bricks until they settle. As you can see, a few bricks fell from the side, but it doesn't really harm the simulation. So now let's just create another object, and what we're going to do is we're going to add in a UV sphere. So add in a mesh, and this is a UV sphere, and scale this up. Pressing Ctrl and A will fix our rotation and scale, which we do now. And then we'll move this up in the Z like that. And of course, all we've got to do to finish our simulation is to add a rigid body. And as you can see, our ball now just falls onto our wall and then just rests there to the end of the simulation. And the reason that it does this is because it hasn't got enough weight. Each brick weighs a kilo and the ball weighs a kilo. So go down into the mass of our ball, Change that to 500, which of course is 500 kilos. And as you can see, when it hits the wall now, we get our simulation. And of course, if we go into render view, next thing we can do is just add a simple object, a simple texture even, and we can make a mirror ball. Add your own HDRI if you want. Take the metalwork right up to the top. Take the roughness down. And quite simply, you've made yourself your own mirror ball. And this is the simulation finished. You can tweak the settings in the wall settings to actually change this. But as you can see, it's a pretty great simulation to actually make in Blender. And you can have a lot of fun with Wall Factory because it's got openings, you can actually add finials, and it's quite good to make castles. I hope you enjoyed the simulation, and now let me show you how we can actually enable extra objects. So we go into File. In fact, we don't go into File, we go into Preferences because it changed where it was quite a few years ago, and we go into Preferences, and you've got Extensions. So what we want to do is put EX, which is extra mesh objects. So if you haven't enabled it, you can open this and enable it, and then you just add it into extra objects by ticking this box. And voila, that's all you have to do. Right, the next thing is in extra objects, just to actually show you a bit of an actual extra that there is an extra object. You can make all sorts of shapes. I mean, it's got diamonds, and it's got brilliant diamond, gems of different size, and of course it's got the extras. You've got a beam builder, a wall factory, whoops, simple star, step pyramid, honeycomb, obviously the teapot, and the messenger sponge. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Happy blending. Don't forget to actually subscribe to my channel if you found this useful, and join me next time in Blender when we'll learn something new once again. Bye for now. And just as a final point, this is actually featuring an HDRI which you can add from HDR Haven, or now it's called Polyhaven, I believe. Please subscribe.